Jai Bhagwan, and good morning. Welcome to Bhakti House. So this morning we will be looking at the obstacles. Dun dun dun, the obstacles. But before we look at the obstacles, let's chant the Asatoma prayer. Sadagam bring the hands up to prayer position. As you exhale, let the eyes open. And again, Jai Bhagwan, and welcome. No. We'll leave that for another day. Right. For whatever reason, this is not cooperating with me. Technology. There we go. Wonderful when it works. Somewhat of an annoyance when it doesn't. I just wanted to, before, I've had a couple of questions this morning already. Is there still room in the meditation emotion retreat? And the answer to that is yes. Please, if you feel like you would like to come for May's meditation and motion retreat, you can still get the early pricing. I believe you can get that through scroll. It does not tell me when that changes. I believe the early bird pricing runs until, well, I will just say it now. It runs until a week from the retreat begins, so that would be through the 26th, Friday the 26th of April. So until next week Friday, you can still register at the early bird price. Contact me directly if you'd like more information, or I just added that link in the comments. Go ahead and, well, I thought I added a link in the comments. I'm not seeing a link in the comment here. So how about I do this? There's another link in the comment. Okay. Fair enough. All right. Again, thank you for being here this morning, and for the oh, there we go. Now they're both there. I'll delete my earlier comment. Thank you for, as I said, thank you for being with me this morning. Thank you for joining us here at Bhakti House. The obstacles. And oddly enough, it looks like we may be having some sort of technical difficulty. I'm showing us connected and broadcasting properly, but I'm not showing any actual in my own little test world here. Oh, okay, there we go. I'm really not sure what's going on. Looks like as I said, we may be having some difficulty. So if that's the case, I will upload the video of this a little later. Okay, thank you, Barbara. She says, I can see and hear you just fine. Good to know. Again, technology, wonderful thing until it, causes us a little more difficulty than we might want. Anyway, so let's dive right into this. That is the wrong book. That's the correct book. So the portion on practice we're in Book 130, the obstacles. What are the obstacles? 1, disease. 2, dullness. 3, doubt. 4, carelessness. 5, laziness. 6, inability to turn the attention away from the obstacles. They become like that car accident. You just can't stop watching. 7, perverted or distorted vision. Distorted vision is the better way to look at this. We tend to have a bit of a heavier, at least here in the States, we have a heavier view on that word perverted maybe. Distorted vision, an incorrect vision. 8, inability to find a firm ground for the spiritual investigation. I just can't stay steady in my practice. 9, and even when such a ground is found, unsteadiness of mind and attention in the pursuit of the inquiry. So I'm doing really good at postures, but I'm not having a whole lot of effect. 7 years of yoga, and the depression kept getting worse. Okay. Yoga, just practicing yoga, just touching my toes, did not remove the depression. These are the obstacles and distractions, for they bring about and constitute the apparent fragmentation of the mind stuff. That's a pretty hefty list. Disease, dullness, doubt, carelessness, laziness, inability to turn attention away from the obstacles, distorted vision, inability to find firm ground, unsteadiness of mind. That's a big list. But he doesn't stop there. In 31, by the presence of the following symptoms, can be understood the extent to which the mind is disturbed and distracted. So not only may you have these distractions going on, but now we're going to see how big these distractions get, because they cause sorrowful mood, psychological despair, motions of the body, and inhalation and exhalation. Personally, I like that symptom, the whole inhalation and exhalation, but he's talking about panicked breathing. By being attentive to these factors, it is possible to arrive at an understanding of the degree of seriousness of the obstacles. We've all had a little bit of a startle now and then, and it may have caused us to catch our breath. The varying degree of the intensity of that breathing indicates the size of the startle. By being attentive to these factors, it is possible to arrive at an understanding of the degree of the seriousness of the obstacles, for they coexist with the distractions of the mind. That's that, if we're removing these obstacles, I only gave him 10 sutras to do this. It's not a lot of time. It's not a lot of words to use. 32, in order to overcome mental distractions, one should steadily adhere to the practice of one method. When you start digging a well, don't dig down 10 feet to get to water that's 200 feet underground and then stop because the ground gets too hard, and dig another well down 10 feet, and then another well down 10 feet, and then another well down 10 feet because it keeps getting too hard. Before long, you have 20 wells, or rather 20 holes, that are 10 feet deep. You've dug through 200 feet of dirt and you're still no closer to the water. Practice one method. And you can take this in many different ways. That I should only be doing some sort of alternate nostril breathing, and I will not do any other practice other than alternate nostril breathing. Or I'm going to find one line of practice. One moment, please. It's hay fever season here. And I touched my nose. And very often for me, hay fever season and touching my nose results in some very distracting events. So apparently we're all right at the moment. Okay, continuing on. It can also mean to embrace the teachings of one guru and follow those teachings. So you dig down further and further and further and further. It doesn't mean you can only use, you're only allowed to use standing forward bend, no other postures, one method. Standing forward bend is good for you. That's not what he's saying. Whereas any method will help one overcome distractions, frequent change of the methods adopted in one's practice will aggravate the distractions. So specifically talking about distractions, if you focus on, and I'll give you just a little bit of homework right now. Every time you come to a stop sign or a stop light, start taking 5 slow breaths. If your method for removing the distractions of the mind is 5 slow breaths, and you're practicing 5 slow breaths every time you come to a stop sign or a stop light, and you are being diligent and adhering to this one method. Yes, I just went on about not one method, and now I'm back to the one method thing. If you focus on this one method again and again and again and again and again, when you drop a 50-pound weight on your big toe, you're going to be a little distracted. But then you can immediately 5 slow breaths. It's not going to make the pain in your toe go away. It is going to make the mind, which is telling you you're going to die because your toe just got mushed, stop. It's going to interrupt that activity of the mind. And once the activity of the mind is interrupted, you can begin to appropriately deal with the toe instead of being so overwhelmed by the sensation of the toe. And so he gives us a number of different options. And then before he actually starts to give us options, he gives us some general life advice. He says, the following fourfold attitude to life's vicissitudes and in all relationships, being conducive to peace of mind, enables one to overcome the distractions of the mind. So these are general principles to help you live a life where you are free from distractions. 1, friendliness towards pleasure, or those who are pleasantly disposed to oneself, friends. 2, compassion for the sorrowful, and when one is in a painful condition, self-forgetful sympathy for those who may be in a similar painful condition. When someone tells you, I just dropped 50 pounds on my toes, and it hurts, don't start telling them about the last time you dropped 50 pounds on your toes. Focus on their experience, not on your past. 3, rejoicing in the exaltation of the noble or the holy ones. Be in the company of people who have this type of stillness already. And indifference to unholiness, not being drawn into it, nor holding others in contempt for their unholiness. And another place is it's disregard for the wicked. It doesn't mean to shun anyone. It just says, don't worry about that. Don't get caught up in it. Not always easy. And then he gives some other more intense ways of being free of the distractions. Or, 34, the distractions can be overcome by literally and physically exhaling the breath and holding the lungs empty. Or adopting, like I was saying, take 5 slow breaths. Start using breath because it's always with you. You don't need any special tools to interrupt the activities of the mind. or by adopting other methods like fasting or contemplation of death, etc., by which one symbolically expires and holds the prana or life force outside, as it were. 35. Or intense and vigilant attentiveness to the activities aroused within oneself by sense experiences can also have a binding force to prevent mental distractions, being focused on the sensations of the body. How does this practice I'm doing affect the sensations of the body? Needless to say that one should not get lost in such sense experiences. Stay attentive. Don't allow the experiences to make you inattentive. Of such is attentiveness to breathing, or to the movement of life force, sensation in the body, or to the silent sound of a mantra, mentally uttered, to the subtle vision of the divine presence, or to the experience of the space of consciousness within the heart. Some of these may be familiar sounding to those of you who've practiced Amrit Yoga. Focus on the breath. Focus on the third eye. Focus on sensation. Feel the effect of the sequence of poses you've just done. Or one may be keenly attentive to an internal, the psychic blissful inner light, or an external person or phenomenon devoid of sorrow and full of resplendence, and thus overcome distractions of the mind stuff. Fill your mind with an image, whether of a person or of an imagined thing, that fills you with this resplendence. Or the mental distractions can be eliminated by the adoration of the consciousness of one or which is free from conditioning. This is called tratak at times. Focus on someone who you see as being an enlightened teacher. To this category belong even divine images, celestial bodies like the sun or the moon, and enlightened living beings or even babies. Though surely one should constantly bear in mind that it is their unconditioned nature which entitles them to be thus adored. It's not something special about them, it's that unconditioned nature. 38. Or the distractions can be removed by holding on to the wisdom gained in dreams. Whether they are parapsychological visions or symbolical dreams, as also the wisdom gained by a profound reflection on the message of deep sleep, in which there is total absence of mental distraction, and in which one experiences no diversity at all. In this state, free from obstacles, one experiences peace and happiness, which are recollected on awakening from sleep. So we can even, beautiful dreams. Don't go meditating on your nightmares necessarily, but on those peaceful, beautiful dreams. Use those. And then 39. Or the distractions can be overcome by adopting any contemplative technique, using any object of meditation that one likes most. For that which one likes most holds one's attention, and the technique one likes most makes contemplation easy, provided, of course, that neither the object nor the technique itself involves or invites distraction. So you might meditate on your beloved, that special someone in your life. And then he gives a little caveat. Be a little careful with this to make sure that whatever you're meditating on doesn't create its own distractions. I'm meditating on my beloved. And now I'm imagining us having a romantic dinner together. And now all of a sudden a story is starting instead of simply meditating on the beloved. So find something that maybe doesn't draw you in too much into the story that you might have with that individual or that scene. So instead, for example, a rose, a flower, simply meditate on the flower. You don't necessarily have a story about the flower, just observe the flower, the shape of the petals, the color of the petals, the scent of its fragrance, or the smell of its fragrance. Maybe focus on a dewdrop on one of the petals. And it doesn't even have to be right in front of you. You can close your eyes and see that rose. See that dewdrop on the rose petal. And allow all of attention to become absorbed in the dewdrop. He sure listed a long set of things. How is meditating on a dewdrop supposed to remove disease? Well, he didn't say it would remove the disease. He said it would remove the distraction in the mind. If all of your attention and focus is on this dewdrop on this rose, are you focused on the disease? If all your attention is on the dewdrop, is the mind filled with dullness or doubt, carelessness, laziness, inability to turn attention away from these obstacles? Is your vision distorted? Do you have an inability to find a firm ground for spiritual investigation? Is there an unsteadiness of mind, a sorrowful mood, psychological despair? Is the body constantly, are you fighting? Are you running? And at first it seems like this is suggesting to us that we should ignore and pretend that these things don't exist. That's not the point. Especially if we're focusing on sensation, we're not pretending anything doesn't exist. We're actually feeling what we experience more intensely. But this establishes a baseline of peace and stillness. And I recently had a student, a couple of students had a rather large experience here just a couple of days ago. And one of them yesterday reported something new in her daily experiences. She said, "Ramdas, I'm still experiencing anger and frustration. These people in my life, they're still pushing my buttons. But while all that was happening, I was at peace that it was happening. And it didn't make me feel bad about myself. I didn't get down on myself. There was all this craziness was happening up here, and I was just resting right here watching all of it happen. And when it was appropriate, I took action and did what needed to be done. So it's not that she was disassociated from life, where she was unable or unwilling to interact with life. But as her mind up here was doing its crazy dance, she recognized that she was still peacefully watching the crazy dance. That is what yoga points us toward. These crazy things, they come and go on their own. remain in this restful peace that observes all the craziness. And when it's appropriate, action happens. Okay, here's some craziness, need to take this action. Here's some craziness, need to take this action. All right, my friends. Thank you for joining me this morning. Looks like our time is spent. Again, yes, there's room in the Meditation in Motion retreat if you'd like to attend that. I have begun offering individual yoga therapy sessions. I've begun a yoga therapy certification course. These can be done. So for those, some of you have expressed, Ramdas, how can I interact with you? Send me a message. I can get you more information about this rather than talk about it at this point. I've had a number of people already this week take advantage of that and report that their experience has been positive. They're supposed to return and give me more information about that tonight and this weekend. Again, that's not really the point of this morning broadcast. Just know that that's available to you. I'm happy to work with anyone, help you work through your distractions, and help you find some very simple techniques that you can use to help you remove these obstacles, these distractions from your life. All right, let's bring our time this morning to a close. And I'll post a link before signing off the video of where you can schedule yourself some time with me to actually help you remove some of the obstacles that Patanjali has identified. Let's let the eyes close. And we'll chant one sound of Om, and remember, you. Om represents everything. And Om is pointing toward you. Let's take a breath in. Om. As you inhale, bring the hands to prayer position. As you exhale, let the eyes open. Jai Bhagwan. Thank you again for being here. Let me quickly post for you that link where you can schedule some time for yourself with me to help you identify how can you remove those distractions, those obstacles. Technology once again. Here we go. Here we go. So you can use this link that I've just posted, and you can use it to schedule yourself time with me. And together we can explore how to use these techniques for you to remove those obstacles: disease, dullness, doubt, carelessness, laziness, inability to turn attention away from obstacles, distorted vision, inability to find firm ground, unsteadiness of mind, sorrowful mood, psychological despair. If those types of things seem in any shape or form to be way, shape, or form to be causing you difficulty, please schedule yourself some time with me. The first session's free. What do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? And for a lot of people, the first session's all they need, because they become so dedicated to using the tool, the method that we develop together, they don't need anything more. And that's perfect. All right, my friends, again, thank you all for being here this morning. And until we see each other again, Jai Bhagwan.